FEEDSACKs and the FEEDSACK course. So if you saw the preview on one of my platforms, the social sites, even Instagram, I shared it over there, Amy Barackman Studio on Instagram, you know we're going to talk about FEEDSACKs. So first off, I'm going to give you a little preview of the FEEDSACK course, because that's the one that I have brought together in a lot of different examples of content for you to look at. First of all, FEEDSACKs. Where did my love of FEEDSACKs start? Well, when I published the Vintage Notions book, which many of you are probably aware of, this book has a month-by-month treasury of showing patterns, essays, home arts content. And on some of the pages in my book, you'll see fabric. Many of the pages have textiles and fabrics on them. And this is our September Department of Cooking. I'll try to show it up close a little there. And that has a FEEDSACK featured on it. And this article is about preserving fruit. I want to share with you that particular fabric that I just showed you on the page of the book. And here it is. So this was the FEEDSACK that we scanned. I think you'll really love the art that you see on the pages. This is another one of the FEEDSACKs that was featured, I believe, maybe in the August chapter. And I brought out a couple more just so everyone sees the variety of prints. There were tens of thousands of FEEDSACK prints that were created in the era of sewing with FEEDSACKs. This is one that is purple as you see it here, but when you see this print in my book, we actually recolored it, I believe, for the December chapter. And I think we recolored it in red and green. So I just thought it would be fun for you guys to see where this all started. Everything from, more of like this little Argyle type print. This is in the December chapter as well, to the party hats. I said today's party day, right? So this is that fabric that I shared with you if you saw the preview for the live, and it's party hats. I believe this is in the April chapter. So you can see how this FEEDSACK collection became part of my Vintage Notions book. And the more I learned about FEEDSACKs, the more I was just fascinated by the story behind this fabric. And I'm going to show you now, I think it'd be fun for you to see a little bit about what the course that we have for sale on FEEDSACKs, what is included in that. And that'll give you at the same time some history too. And the platform where the courses live is called vintagemodernmakers.com. First off, when you go to the Amy Barackman website, at the top navigation, you can see links to DIY courses, and those will take you to the place you need to be. So you can see this graphic where it says DIY courses on the right. What do they include? Courses include everything from field trips to museums to, you can see the topper I'm wearing there in the picture, projects upcycling your vintage textiles, and then also printables. And those printables are really a fun add-on that you get in addition to the sewing project. And it is a little needle case that is a fold and sew needle case, we call it. And it has a little pocket for maybe your scissors or a thimble. It has a place for your needles, and it folds just up so nicely. Here is the example of it open, so you guys get a better picture. And I do have another picture of them. There they are in a couple other fabric ways. You can see that fun dress form fabric and that cute little girl. That's a FEEDSACK. These are both examples of FEEDSACK fabrics from my collection. So when we put the primer together, course, we call them primers too, because a primer was a term for a beginning educational book about a particular theme. So we cut that you will they are called primer courses because they're a really nice introduction to learn the history and make some creative projects, learn sewing techniques. But the neat thing about the courses is you also get PDF printables. And so I just showed you those pictures of those needle cases. Well, we love the fabric so much. I thought, well, that's what our printable will be. And those printables are called heirloom art, is what I call them. So you can see here, here's the needle case made out of the feed sack. And then you also get the actual printable image that you could, number one, print on a fabric sheet and make an identical project, or number two, print on paper and maybe do something really fun like this, where you add a card. This would be a great gift for one of your sewing friends, this needle case, and then you could make a custom card to go with it based on your access to these PDFs within the membership. There you have it. The dress form made, the printable piece from the course that's part of your content, and then our idea for the way that you can create something to give a friend, or even package these up, make a set for a friend as a gift. And you can see the graphic. It says happiness is a full bobbin. Well, I think we can all relate to that, right? There it is. Happiness is a full bobbin. So again, you also get the graphic of the text in your PDF when you buy this FEEDSACK course. And one more card to show you. This one is really cute. It uses another graphic, and Delcy designed these. She did a fabulous job. And there you can see, when I make with my hands, I give from the heart. And then we added a cute little heart button that's, I think, a Bakelite buttons, which that'll probably be a future course that we do, is Bakelite buttons. We love buttons. In fact, we'll get to Mother of Purl Buttons here to talk about them a little. But another printable that you get in with your FEEDSACK course is this booklet. It's called A Bag of Tricks for Home Sewing. So this is a vintage piece that's in my collection that, again, we scanned and prepared for the opportunity for you to read it. You can also print it. So the neat thing about these courses is this content is not only available for you to stream on your device, but you can also download the content. So if maybe you have a more challenging internet connection, you do have the ability to download on your device. So it makes it much easier to view at your leisure. The other sewing project in this course is what we call the Mary's Magic Square. And there is a clever technique for creating these. I'm not going to share too much more. I'm going to give you some more combinations. Here you can see a couple other ways that you can configure the design with feed sacks. So that is the magic square. And I think I do have one more picture that I can show you that shows that magic square and how you can use it. So you have a coaster, you have a hot pad. And another thing that I do share in the courses is history and more treasures for my collection. So I did want to share, FEEDSACK aprons are a very popular theme that you'll see when you go to thrift stores, antique shop, estate sales. Wonderful examples of aprons. Now, this is a smaller apron coaster, so I thought it would be easier to show here in the live, but I wanted you to see, again, the prints that are part of the FEEDSACK legacy. This is a really fun one with transportation on it. Everything from the horse and carriage to the biplane, the old car, the train. So definitely these courses are eye candy. We have the inspirational albums in every course, and those albums are actually videos that I share my collection, I also share ideas for the other ways that you can use the sewing projects. So if you see the sewing project I have on, which is the bandana topper, this is in the bandana course. Another one of the courses that's now available at vintagemodernmakers.com. Here you can see, many of you know I talk about my mom, Donna, incredibly talented, wonderful mom. She had this tablecloth. This is literally a square tablecloth that she had it in her home. I don't think we ever used it for a tablecloth, but boy, it made a really, really nice bandana topper. So, other ideas that we've come up with for this particular pattern that is part of the bandana primer course, think about using a lace tablecloth. Um, wouldn't it be gorgeous created in a topper like this for whether you're wearing it for casual or you want to do something dressy? I think there's so many vintage textiles out there that you may have in a drawer, in a closet. You may find them for a few dollars at the thrift store, and you know the value of that fabric. So I want to help you take those treasures and turn them into projects that you can use in your everyday life. Or maybe you can gift them to friends. And when you do create with those textiles that have a connection to a family member, those gifts are the most meaningful, in my opinion. So that's my calling, is to share and inspire you with those ideas. And we really do try to give you multiple ideas on how to use these projects. And that's again what those inspiration albums are about. So there's video content, there is interviews, like I mentioned, Gloria, author of 2 wonderful FEEDSACK books. Her interview was very enlightening and fascinating. So, oh, I do have something related to Gloria in my pictures. Here you go. These are Rag Darlings. And you wonder why she called her book Rag Darlings. Well, one of the popular ways that FEEDSACKs were produced were to be as these literally sew and stuff doll projects. And these are a couple that are in my collection. One more cute FEEDSACK image. Look how cute that little graphic is, that is part of the printable I showed you. That's one of the FEEDSACK printables that comes in the primer course. And that was a darling apron. And I show the fabric apron in the course. So you'll see lots and lots. Oh, and this is another piece that you get in the course. This is a page from the bag of tricks for home sewing that I showed you earlier. So there you can see more apron styles that might look familiar to you. And one more FEEDSACK. This little cutie, isn't he fun? He's a little doll that's in my collection that I'm sure is a FEEDSACK. Every course has a sales page on vintagemodernmakers.com. And on those sales page, we give you the details of everything that's included in the course. How many videos, how many minutes of video, what types of PDF printables do you receive? And so you'll really get a lot of information. I also did a Q&A explaining access to the videos, access to the PDFs. If some of you are new to technology, I want to assure you this is a very easy platform to use. Very easy. So, and we're here to help if you have any problems. I want to go quick over a couple things from some other courses. Well, and let me quick talk about the reading that you get with your course. So if you, in Vintage Notions, Mary Brooks Pickens' essays are some of the most popular articles in this book. And Mary founded the Women's Institute back in the 1920s, and they published these magazines called Inspiration. Here are a couple issues. I pulled the fall one just so you could see and be inspired by the beauty in that illustration. So Mary's essays I have access to because I've collected literally hundreds of these publications in my vintage archive. And so each one of the primers has this kind of inspirational reading, uplifting articles. And many times we try to make those articles about the particular theme that we are talking about in the course. So you'll find, for instance, in the bandana course, there's a really fun article about scarves, beautiful hand painted scarves. And these are mainly 1920s articles, 100 years ago, which I think is so much fun. And honestly, so much of the information is very relevant for today and timeless wisdom that I think you'll just thoroughly enjoy. Okay, speaking of vintage notions, the other course is Purl Buttons. And here is one thing I do share with you is when I have acquired new treasures. And this is one of my treasures that is all smoky pearl buttons. So in the Purl Button course, the project is, I'm going to quick show you the project. Of course, I have a few. The neat thing is I have a few, like I mentioned, here's the main project in the Purl Button course. It's a pieced and patchwork and quilted little zipper case with a wonderful tassel on it. And with that course, I'm just going to show you some of the other projects that we've made using that course. So gingham we've upcycled. We created a quilt block, used an orphan quilt block to make the sewing project from the Purl Button course. We upcycled a dresser scarf or a pillowcase. If you got, many of you I know have those beautifully embroidered linens. And we have so many good projects for those in these courses. And one more, a fun modern version. So don't think that this is all vintage. I love to share a modern design, a modern fabric, all sorts of opportunities to create unique projects, because you change the fabric and it can change the entire look of what you're doing. So when it comes to the Purl Button course, you will receive the pouch that I shared there. And then as far as the graphics in the Purl Button course, they were kind of fun to put together. I actually found, I'm going to pull it out here. From my collection, you will have button cards, graphics that are part of that content. And I think, so those are the button card graphics. And these are perfect for your buttons. You can print them and you could create tags, you could create cards. And I thought I had one here to show you, but I may have moved it before we got started. I'll show those next time. Next time I'll do a full-on Purl Button review of the material that's in that course, because we're getting down to the wire here. Bandana, Purl Button, right? And then we have one quick, I don't want to miss telling you the fourth course that's available, because it's Tommy the Tomato, the pincushion. And it's National Sewing Month. If you didn't know that, it's National Sewing Month. That's September. And Tommy the Tomato, here you can see him. Here he is in an upcycled fabric. We created him in a ribbed cashmere sweater, and then got another sweater to make his stem and his leaf. And in this course, this is your printable. She spends hours in the sewing room. And I have to share these because Robin did these. Robin McIntosh created these with the graphics that are part of the course. And these little needle cases have Tommy Tomato on them, and scissor shears, the other character. And the history on these is the Mary Frances and Thimble Friends book series. That was a sewing book series for children to learn to sew. Here we have the shirting, upcycle men's shirts, sweaters, denim, aprons, gingham, and handkerchiefs. So here's another idea. This is a handkerchief created and upcycled into a beautiful pincushion with, of course, a Purl Button accent at the center. So that is your Tommy the Tomato. So this was the book I mentioned. That's the Mary Frances book that Tommy, and here's Tommy. one more time, thanks to Donna, who created Tommy, our character. Here's the printables in the tomato pincushion course. You can print these cute little graphics and then use your zigzag machine and stitch them onto note cards. And again, one more hello from Tommy. One more picture I put in, I don't want to miss showing you, is this mother of pearl graphic. Isn't that wonderful? That's one of my new treasures. So the best way to keep up to date with me is my newsletter, amybarrickman.com. Head over there, sign up, visit the Vintage Modern Makers website, and look around. On every page of the course page at the top is a video that I call the welcome video, and it goes through all of the details of what you receive in the course. I shouldn't say all of the details. It goes through most of the details. And then lower, as you go down the page, you'll see the listing of all the course details. You'll see the frequently asked questions and some pictures of the projects, some pictures of the printables. It should give you enough information that you can make a decision about joining me for one of the courses. And you'll also, once you register on that website, you'll also be part of our community over there. So as you make things, you can share them. I also encourage everyone to share at the Amy Barrickman Vintage Made Modern Facebook group. If you find a treasure out there, share it with the group. If you make something related to the vintage textile we're talking about, share it with the group. And again, the courses are Purl Button, Bandana, Tomato Pincushion, and FEEDSACK. And I hope to see you in the Vintage Modern Makers platform. And I would love it if you would consider a course and joining me to learn more about the wonderful history of handmade.